So, welcome everyone. So first of all, we would like to, of course, thank you for all your time and then but for being here. This is just an informative session that we are inviting you and that we are hosting right now with some of our, let's say, key strategic partners before and also the key people at IXL Center. So we are gonna just be sharing a little bit about the program, the Innovation Olympics program, which is one of the strategies that key people and key corporations are using globally to actually develop and implement a strategic growth inside the corporations. So that's kind of what we are gonna be doing today. So the objective is that you can actually get to know what this strategy is about and how other companies around the globe are actually using this strategy to generate growth in their corporations. This is the agenda that we will have for today. So first, we will have a brief introduction about the Innovation Olympics program. Then we will have an open discussion with Danielle Lang, who is already here from Growth Platform at Bosch Corporation. Then we will also share some of the case studies we have had with previous clients that have participated in this program. And then we will open the floor for Q&A. So that's what we are going to be doing today. So I'm going to give the floor now to Hitendra Patel. He's going to be sharing what the Innovation Olympics program is and why corporations are actually using this program as a strategic pillar for their growth initiatives through innovation. So HP, welcome and thank you very much for being here.
Thanks, Carolina. My name is Hitendra Patel and I'm the Managing Director of IXL Center. And I've been a management consultant for the last 25 years, working with many of the largest Fortune 500 companies in the world. And everywhere we go, CEOs across the board asking the same question: what should I do next? What should I do next? And what should our company do next? So they're not as concerned about what they should do now. Now they've got that figured out. That's how operational, it's the current business and everything else. But they're asking what's next, especially with the rapid change of technology, the rapid change of consumer markets and segments, the globalization of the world and everything. They're saying, what should I do next? What should we do next? So that's a basic question which every senior executive is asking for. And this Olympics is a solution to that. Inside that, they ask the next question really is, what are these bigger and bolder ideas that we need to work on? And they need to be bigger and bolder because many of these Fortune 5,000 companies are $1 billion or greater in size. So the ideas have to be also billions of dollars in size to create enough revenue, enough profit to move the profitability of a company and move the stock price. So these are the big questions they are asking. Around this bigger and bolder growth ideas, they're also asking, and on the next slide, ultimately, what's my blue ocean? And so it's not the ideas themselves that people are asking for. They're actually asking for a blue ocean, their ocean that they can be in where there is no competitors. An ocean where they can actually be in, where there's lots of fish in there, that they can catch freely and easily. And not just one fish, lots of fish. So they're asking for a blue ocean, which is not competitive, which is just for them. And within that, lots of big, bold ideas, right? And that's what the Innovation Olympics is all about. It's saying that if I don't find it, somebody else will, and I might get disrupted. So what have we put together on this thing is, as we look into the future, you also need to figure out not only your blue ocean, which are the big ideas, also where your talent might be. Because the next talents, next generation of talent that will help you succeed in the future are also what we would call the millennials who are gone now, and the Gen Zs. And Gen Zs are about to enter your workforce, and the MBAs who are in this environment, and they're the ones who are going to tell you what's next and what else. So we also help with the business talent. Now, what if we told you we could do all of these things better, fast, and cheaper than what you could do if you were to hire McKinsey or BCG? What if we told you that we could do it in 1/5 the time? And what if we told you we could do it at 1/5 the cost? And what if we told you you got 5 times the output? Well, that's what the Innovation Olympics exactly is. Let's talk about that a little bit further. The Innovation Olympics is made up of 5 teams, not one. And these 5 teams are trained in innovation consulting, and they basically scour the earth and look for opportunities everywhere. These 5 teams compete with each other to give you the best ideas. Not one team, but 5 teams. These teams use a proven methodology from Arthur D. Little, from the Monitor Group, 2 of the world's most prestigious consulting firms, and from IXL Center, and supported and branded by Jimmy on how to make big ideas real. And then ultimately a disciplined approach. Innovation does not happen without discipline. You have to be able to start, you have to be able to finish. You need to know when to diverge, you need to know when to stop diverging, you need to know when to converge. This is what the methodology provides. And with that, you get 5 new growth areas. That is the Innovation Olympics, in a nutshell, of what we offer to be able to do this, 5 times faster, 5 times the output, and 1/5 the cost. Carol, I'll let you explain the details of what the teams are, where they come from, and everything else. But I think anybody who joins this program or participates in the program will really, really enjoy being in the program, because it's refreshing, because you get ideas from people who are not jaded, people who do know what the next technologies are, people who are your potential customers, and people who are your actually potential employees. So with that, Carol, you have the floor. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Hitendra. And as Hitendra was mentioning, so we have in this program 5 consulting teams participating to identify solutions for the corporate challenges. And these teams can actually come from anywhere in the world. So either from the best schools in North America, or the best schools in Europe and Asia, or the best schools, business schools in Latin America. And these are, as Hitendra mentioned as well, master degree students or PhD students. So it's actually a program that has a very high performance talent to actually identify those solutions for the corporations. We use a proven methodology, and it has a 5-step process that lasts between 8 to 10 weeks to be able to identify those big opportunities and those big ideas and ways to implement those ideas inside the corporation. So it's a proven methodology that already has been able to support probably more than 200 corporations around the globe with those strategic growth challenges that we have. We do require the clients to actually be on those meetings, guiding the consulting teams on those 5 steps of the process. So we are always making sure that the client is always aware and guiding and providing feedback to the teams to make sure that the teams are going to get an output that it works for the corporation. So we have those 5 strategic meetings during the session, during the 8 or to 10 weeks that last the program, to make sure that this program is going to be the outputs are going to be suitable for what the company actually needs and for the challenge that they put into the teams. So Adi, if you want to comment maybe a little bit in how many companies we have worked with this program before?
Sure, yeah. Thank you, Carol. So on one side, we have the diversity of the student teams that we bring to the table and are part of the Olympics. On the other side is the diversity of clients that we have served over the years. And as you can see in the image here, they really range across all industries, all geographies, whether it's energy, consumer goods, high tech, even some governmental sectors, apparel, transportation, and the list goes on and on. So we are very proud of not only the roster of clients, but what it really enables us to do is to refine, improve that program, and really make it applicable across industries and business issues. For example, just in this cycle, we started a couple of Olympics. One is in the energy sector, renewable energy for a public sector client, and another Olympic on a completely different topic, which is about brain health and healthy living with one of the social impact organizations. So that's just hopefully illustrate the diversity of the program. We are very fortunate today to have one of the former participants, one of former companies that were part of that program, which he will share with us his experience. So I'll turn it over to my colleague Fernando to introduce Daniel Lang and engage in a discussion about their Bosch experience in the Olympics.
Thank you, Adi. So I'm Fernando Nozaki from IXL Center, and I'd like to introduce Daniel Lang from Bosch Corporation's who work for the Growth Platform. So Daniel is an innovation manager now based in the US and participated in the Olympics in the previous years. So welcome, Daniel. It's great to have you here today, sharing your experience with the Innovation Olympics program. Please feel free
Thank you, Fernando.
Say a few words about you and your role and the Grow team and Bosch initiatives. Right?
Yeah, sure. So thank you for the invitation. It's always a pleasure to share learnings and experiences. Maybe a couple of words about Bosch. So Bosch is a global leading technology company, and we supply innovative solutions for smart homes, Industry 4.0, and connected mobility. And Bosch is present in so many countries around the globe, and we are active in a very diverse list of industries. But even for Bosch, it's always important to find what is next, as Patel said. So because of that, we have the Grow platform, and Grow platform is our global incubator and acts as a venture capitalist as well as a venture builder for the Bosch Group. And the goal is that we foster internally developed digital business models and find what are the next big business for Bosch beyond our current core business. So it's really about the next big business, what is coming next for us. And back in 2020, when we defined new search fields to really create these innovative business models for Bosch, we worked very hard internally to find interesting problems to be solved in these new search fields that we defined, and generated dozens of ideas. But in the end, with our internal resources and the skills that we had available for our team, we could only take care of a couple of ideas, and we thought that it would be a big waste and it would be not enough just to cover some of them. And that's why we decided to talk to IXL, and we were very excited to work together, actually in 2020 and then again in 2021 in this context of creating new businesses for Bosch outside our core.
So the key element was really to complement your internal initiatives that you're already having with the internal Bosch team, right?
Exactly, yeah.
That's great. And could you please tell us about how was your experience during this 8 weeks program? It's very intense. How was it? How was your perception?
Yeah, it was great. Like we learned a lot and got really inspired by the students. So what I can say, like one of the first motivations was to have this extra help, and as I said, cover more of the different ideas and topics that we were exploring with this additional help. But not only that, it's a lot about how diverse the teams are in the Olympics. So different nationalities, different expertises. In the end, you bring a lot of knowledge that you don't have inside your organization. So we have bright students coming from London, Singapore, and different universities here in the US working with us. And they have such a great access to a broader network, and they helped a lot to learn faster and also challenged our bias, because in the end, they come with their fresh mind, a different perspective, and it was really refreshing for us to work with them. We learned a lot. They challenged us, and while we were challenging them to contribute with the topics, but it was fun and exciting to do that during this time.
That's great. So I think this different perspective was really a key motivation for the team and the participation. That's great.
Yeah.
And in your opinion, what was the most valuable output that you got from the Innovation Olympics program?
As I said, I think like having this fresh perspective in a much broader team working in the topic in different places with different expertises help you a lot to learn faster. And one important result that maybe is not what we expect most in the beginning is to invalidate some ideas. So we had a couple of things that were very promising for us in an early stage, but then in a couple of weeks, the teams came back and said, hey, that doesn't make sense. I have some other real problems that Bosch could solve here for you. So invalidating some of the ideas and coming up with new opportunities that are based on real market pains. So they leverage their network, and they conducted like independent research that brought us a new perspective in new opportunities that were not originally in our scope. And also for us, it's very important to access the right partners for these new businesses. And this was a very good output. They brought a list of potential partners and identified key players in these new industries for us that can become a very good partner for what we are like planning or trying to develop in the future. And this was very good also.
That's an interesting point that you mentioned, that having this unbiased perspective of how they propose things and also suggest some partnerships, it's key because they have totally freedom to do that. So it's great.
Yeah.
Yeah. And Daniel, from your side, what are your suggestions or recommendations that you have to move those ideas generated or invalid, sometimes changed by the Innovation Olympics into the implementation?
Yeah, I think it's very important when you decide to go for the Olympics that you already think about like what's next, because you have a very good and concrete result, but innovation it's never done, right? Like there's always something that you have to do next and keep like validating, developing the different ideas that will come out. So what we did, we tried to plan to integrate them with our internal initiatives and really thinking about our funnel. So we took a lot of topics. We knew that in the next stage we would have some ways to keep developing the ideas. And for us, we also saw that it would be great to have additional help, and that's why we also worked together again after the Olympics, and we invited a couple. First, we invited a couple of teams to come back working with us, and they were part of one of our internal accelerator programs, like to go even deeper in some of the topics that they worked on during the Olympics, and this was great. Like we integrated the students with some of our employees. They exchanged a lot of knowledge and also challenged the bias of a broader group inside Bosch, which was great. And later we also prioritized other topics. So I would say keep the funnel in mind, and make sure you plan the next steps before you go for the Olympics.
That's great. I remember this initiative that you guys have, this experience to integrate this part of the external students with your internal team. So they both learn, right? One learned
Right.
about the corporation and the others learn from the outside perspective. Was a great initiative. That's great. So I think we're gonna have later on a Q&A session. But for now, I think I'd like to thank you, Daniel, for sharing all these great, insightful perspectives of the Innovation Olympics. And I'd like to pass the word to Carolina. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Fernando.
Thank you.
And HP, I don't know if you wanna also give some last words regarding.
Yeah, no, of course. Daniel, first, corporate partners are the best testimonial for why these programs are very powerful. I'll share some things that we have seen that makes the Olympics even more engaging. For whatever reason, inside the company, people are willing to listen to young people. And when they hear voices of young people versus consultants versus internal people talking about this thing, people just don't pay attention. But somehow the MBA students and the business school students are refreshing and exciting. So could you say in terms of why their input is more likely to be listened inside a company versus the input of people who are in the company or people who are even consultants who say, do this or do that? It's just a question for you. Yeah.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I don't know exactly why, but as you said, I think we are more open-minded. When you go for it, it's part of the expectation that you will have a different perspective, and we go open for it, and it's really good also to debate sometimes. Like we have a different understanding, and we ask them why they see like a different story. I think what's really important also is that we challenge them to be very evidence-based, right? Like, hey, go out there, talk to people, leverage your network, and then I think the students or young people, they are bold to challenge the status quo and really question you versus other experience. Maybe sometimes when we work with experienced consultants, I don't know, they are a little bit more like polite, or they have ways to translate their inputs. But the students, they are just very open. And they say, hey, that doesn't make sense. I don't know how you came up with this idea, but take a look on this and that. And they are used to speed also. So in very short time, they can bring you a lot of new information and help you to move faster. So as you said, it is refreshing. I think we also have a sense that we like to contribute for their development. So it's an exchange. Like you feel good to show them or give them the opportunity to learn more about how the corporate works, and in the other hand, to listen to their perspective. Yeah.
I think there's a higher degree of collaboration and trust that starts very early. And then also their naivety and their openness and their irreverence, all of them together creates all these great outputs. So I just wanted to highlight that as one thing. And the reason they are able to get so much intelligence and insights is they've got their own networks inside the university and their own alumni around the world. And when you look at that, the network is tremendous. 25 people doing research just for you. Who would imagine that? And their networks and their professors and their geographies. And it's really fast. The last point I just want to make sure is, and I want to see if this was true for you also, Danielle. Over the 200 or 300 companies we work with, we saw that of the 5 teams' ideas, one team gave an idea which was so amazing, and you were like, wow, why didn't we think about it? And we should be doing it. And then maybe the other 2 or 3 teams came up with ideas, was saying, we've been talking about this thing, but we haven't started. And maybe one team completely screwed it up. Right? How was your experience on the 5 ideas that came out?
Yeah, I think it's somehow like that. There's always one that is the most surprising, and we are really excited about, and there's a high chance that one will not be that that good, or like nothing so new for you. But I think what is also great is innovation is never like a straight line, right? So it doesn't mean if you just think at that time that that wasn't that good, or you just like park that topic, it doesn't mean that it's not adding value. And I'm seeing that like years later, I still go back and take a look on some of the inputs, because people are coming to me and say, hey, I have this great idea, or I'm building on this innovation project, and this is what we found out. And then I go back and say, hey, wait, we already know all of this, and maybe this is not the best thing for you to pursue.
Yeah,
And
perfect.
so this is very important. Like, it's learning either way, even if it is not like the next great idea. It's something that will somehow cross pollinize or help with other initiatives in the organization in a later point.
And without a doubt, those 5 teams are doing great work, because there are people like Fernando, a senior consultant, making sure that each team is doing the quality level of work of what you would expect from a BCG or a McKinsey also. So this senior quality control is also critical on doing that. So I'm gonna, first of all, Fernando, thanks for this. Daniel, thanks for this. I'm gonna give it back to Carolina. They're following a tight schedule, and I've already kind of taken some of the minutes out of that agenda. So I want to give it back to you. Sorry, Carolina. Thanks, Daniel.
No, no. Thank you very much, Daniel, Hitendra, and Fernando, for this insightful experience about the Innovation Olympics program. So let me go back to the presentation just to share a little bit more of other challenges that we have participated before and that we have worked before with other corporations. As Adi mentioned already, this has been across the globe in different industries, in different geographies. So for example, a couple of companies that have participating in this program is companies like Airbus, where they ask us to actually think and envision the future, the airplane or the jet of the future. So we actually had the teams dreaming on how this actually was going to be able to make it happen. And something interesting about this specific, or the program itself, is that the teams need to come up with specific actions for the short, medium, and long term. So it's not only kind of things that are very far away, but are things that even if they seem far away, you can actually activate them now based on the capabilities of the companies. We have also been able to work with this program with challenges, for example, for IBM, to enhance the digital accessibility to people that has limitations of somehow. We were also able to work this with LG to drive these LCD manufacturing products that they were thinking back then when we actually did the program with them. We also worked with Hyundai to identify new customer experiences for their products, for their brand, and to position themselves, let's say, more focused on the customer experience side. We have also been able to work this at a more, let's say, technical part, not only on the strategic, let's say, growth, but also in technical challenge. For example, with Clavin or with Braskem, to identify additional options that they can actually implement those products they have, probably in other products or in other uses that they could probably give to those products. And then we also work with Natura and JBS as additional past clients that we have been able to work with. So this is just a couple of the challenges that we have been able to work with. And these are just some other testimonials of our past clients that I mentioned before. So I think that's what we wanted to share with you, everyone. So we are going to be now opening the floor for some Q&A that I already saw some of the questions here that you have. So let me just now pause for a second and ask if anybody in the audience has any question regarding the program, regarding the way that we actually set up the teams or something like that. So let me just go here and start looking for the question. Okay, so this is a good question. Do you have any statistics on the conversion of those ideas to viable products or businesses? Hitendra, would you like to take that question? You are on mute, HP.
Sorry, would you like to repeat the question and so everybody can hear it?
Yes. They are asking if we have any statistics of the conversion of those ideas into real products or businesses.
That's a great question. I think Kostas asked that question, and just to make sure, Kostas, here's what the situation is. 80% of the ideas generated by the students in any project are viable ideas for go-to-market. Now, the company's ability to execute is the company's ability to execute. So often they don't have capacity to take all the ideas forward, and they might take one idea forward and push that forward. So in the case, and so here again, the statistics on that execution is their ability to execute. And I think that's what Mr. Lange was saying, that execution still has its innovation challenges. So at Ingredion, for example, which is one of the world's biggest starch company, they were able to take one of the ideas in there saying, let's get into protein-based, vegetable-based protein, vegetable-based ingredients. And today they have a business unit. They've grown it about $200 million plus or something of size and done really well with that. Similarly, Osram Sylvania, another company which makes light bulbs, was able to take these ideas and start thinking about how to implement their ideas in hotels to get light bulbs in every single hotel over there with a digital solution that allowed you to control the lighting for you in every room by who you were and other things. So the point over here is the conversion rates are really dependent on the client. We do help you make sure that this will happen afterwards. So we have this thing called Innovation Olympics, which can generate the big, bold ideas. And then we follow up with this thing called accelerators, pursuit realization accelerators. And this accelerator will allow you to take 5 of those ideas and others and drive them forward also. So the statistics on this thing, I would say, is probably about 25 to 30% of the companies take it to the full end. But somewhere in there, many companies get distracted by other initiatives, other crises, COVID, and other things, and then things get distracted. Innovation is hard. It's easy to start it. It's very hard to finish what you start. And therefore, the discipline of this thing is not just the front end ideas, but also the implementation. And here, a lot of companies think they can manage it, and they try their best, but the statistical outcomes are probably about 50%.
Thank you very much, Hitendra. And then the other question that we had here, it was how many people they actually are going to be able to expect to work on the challenge. I think we already mentioned it will be between 20 to 30 people, consultants that are going to be working on the challenge. And this will be divided between 5 to 6 teams that are going to be working for each of the challenges.
Yeah, but I would add to that. I mean, the IXL Center provides a consultant supporting these 5 teams. That consultant has got tons of experience, years of experience. So he or she brings input into the teams also. And that consultant also has access to all the IXL Center networks and the Global Innovation Management Institute networks around the world. And so they can again ask for help and ideas. And therefore the speed at which we can train students up and we can train the teams up with new ideas and new issues are tremendous. And so it's a much bigger, it's a village, it's a community, it's a big community which is actually helping each of these teams to be successful. And right now we are doing this project that Adi mentioned, which was about green hydrogen. And green hydrogen requires everybody around the world to provide support. And so the network has been thrown out. Past alumni of the program are asked to participate. Past clients are asked to say, what do you think there is? And so our community network and our alumni network is also accessible to help you. But it's not just 25 people. It's not just 5 teams. It's a lot bigger than that. And it's a lot faster than anything that I've ever seen in my life.
Okay, thank you, Hitendra. And we have Roman also with a couple of questions. Is there any limitation to the challenges proposed by the companies? Is the first one.
So we are looking for challenge questions which are not internal focused. So this is about where the market is going next. The world is changing, the technology is changing, and therefore the research that the teams are going to do are from the outside in and not from the inside out. So if you are saying, help me with my process improvement for how can I manufacture for a lower cost, I think you guys are the best suited to solve that problem because you have more people working on it and you have access to intelligence inside that you probably don't want to share with us on the outside, right? So this is an outside in project. It's basically identifying what opportunities are there for anybody around the world, first and foremost, and then matching it with what your capabilities are to be able to make sure that it's your blue ocean, and then you're the best one who can win with it. And then on there, they create a pipeline of concepts and ideas for you to imagine what that bright future for you will be. So it is outside in. It's about growth. It can be about almost anything about outside in. And you'll be surprised how fast these teams are in learning, how fast they understand the issue, and how surprised the clients are in the quality of the outputs the students bring in.
Thank you. And I think that also answers the next question, which was if there is any topic or type of challenges that is more attractive to the consulting teams. So
yeah, and I think you can ask Fernando, Adi, or any one of us, and jump in on this one. The challenge questions we all like, and I would like to even see if they can tell you what a challenge question could be, is something that is big and bold and exciting and game-changing and allows you to put a man on the moon type of question. So bigger, bolder, harder is what I've observed. I don't know, Adi or Fernando, if you want to add some comments on that.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And when you say bigger, bolder, it can be in multiple dimensions. It could be bigger, bolder as it comes to company growth and identifying new growth opportunities. It can be bigger and bolder in terms of social impact. So, for example, this is one of the challenges that we're currently running about improving brain health and healthy living. So obviously big, audacious, and hairy problem. It can be a big problem, or actually I would rather frame it as big opportunities to drive collaboration, like the green hydrogen Olympics that Hitendra referenced, where it's about how do I integrate companies, governments, local institutions to drive this big vision. So the good news is the really broad range of issues, not the bad news, but they have to be big and bold and meaningful. And that's what get the students excited.
Fernando?
I'd say it depends, but most of the times the challenges proposed by the companies are like very challenging and you generate a big impact. So the students get excited because they know they could be shifting the way this company will behave, or entering the new market, or even changing how the company business is going. So they know, and that's why we always ask for a real project. And sometimes it's more technical, sometimes it's more business oriented, but in the end, they always have a lot of passion in the delivery.
I'll give some examples, maybe that will bring it to life. Recently, we worked with one of the cruise ship companies, and we were asked, what's the cruise ship of the future look like for Gen Zs? Gen Zs who don't even use a cruise ship, what will that cruise ship look like, which is going to launch in 2030? What should be inside there? What should the hotel look like? What should the beds look like? What should the restaurant look like? What should the entertainment look like? Not even imagine. And this team came up with suggestions on that. So that's one extreme. On another side, there's a company which came up with a polymer, a plastic that was the strength of steel. And they said, what are the applications of this plastic, and how can we take that to market and really create new market opportunities around this new technology that we have created? And then that was amazing because they were able to put that in railway stations and railway lines. Similarly, we did another project which was around beverages of the future. What are the beverages of the future? And what do they look like? And do we look at them in terms of, fun beverages, fizzy beverages, or beverages that as you drink, you have a lot of fun with them, but your teeth get whiter and your eyes get brighter? Healthier beverages, but healthier that actually gives you a six-pack at the end of all of that. So it's pretty cool types of challenges they're looking for. And every industry is looking for this thing. So if you find any CEO who says, I know what I have to do, I'll probably say, probably not. Who wouldn't want more options in the back pocket of what's next and what else?
Yeah.
okay.
I just want to add to the early discussion we had about execution, because I think the question that Kostas posed is really important. And although obviously we do have the Olympics, but I think per the Bosch experience, where they brought in a couple of the student teams to help kind of drive the initiatives or the ideas forward. So this is kind of one path of execution, obviously the early stages of execution that companies can pursue. So I think that's another interesting benefit of the program, the access to talent, and then identifying some innovative ways to harness that talent to help you execute your innovation.
Okay, so thank you very much. I think those were the questions that we had for the session today. So the last question actually that Roman has was, what should we do if we want to participate? So let me go there now. So if you want to participate in our next cycle, we are starting the next cycle on September 20th of September 20th. You have multiple ways of reaching out to us. We really encourage you to schedule a 30-minute call so that we can actually listen to the challenge that you have, and then we can actually give you additional details for the program. So you can actually scan this QR code with your phone and then just choose the time that best fits your schedule. We also have other options, of course, for you to learn more about the program. You can write us an email. We have my email over here, write it here. Then you can also visit our website to learn additional testimonials, additional companies we have worked with. We are always sharing, let's say, content about the Innovation Olympics program in our LinkedIn page as well, that you will already see here. So if you want to participate, or if you want to learn more about this program that is helping these corporations like Bosch and the other ones that they already mentioned, to generate this growth and to identify those big ideas that are gonna give you to allow you to reach your targets, we'll just encourage you to schedule a call, write us an email, visit our website, or any other way that you would like to reach out to us. So I think that's it. I don't know if any Hitendra, Adi, Fernando, you would like to give any last thoughts?
Adi, Fernando?
That's not from my end. I think it's great, and it would be great to have new exciting challenges for the next cycles.
Maybe I'll add my comments then. If you we can only do this with 5 or 6 companies every quarter, so please sign up early, otherwise we'll have to roll you over to the next cycle. So that's one of the challenges. We don't have the capacity to do more than 5 different challenges each quarter. So that's the first part. The second part is, the earlier you start this discussion, the more we can customize the types of teams that are best suited for your challenge. And these teams could be, I want to expand to China, so we're looking for Asian teams. Or if you're looking for challenges which are talking about payment systems, so we know which cities have the best payment system, which universities are the best places to look for this type of talent. So earlier you get to us, we can shape the question better, and we can shape the teams better, and therefore the outcomes can be far more impactful. So that's important. And then ultimately on this one here, look, we would like you to become part of our alumni and join us in our community, because this community is made up of people who are all innovation people who are asking for what's next and what else, where's the next future going to come from. And in that discussion, you get better by having peers and colleagues who are just like you to talk to, because I know what you're doing, each one of you. It's a fairly lonely job in trying to drive growth in what's next and what else. Most people are comfortable in what's now and what's my budget. So there you go.
And I think following on your saying, Hitendra, it's some companies, they asked for us to sign NDAs so we can start sharing and combining the scoping the challenge. So we can do that. So just let us know, and you can sign an NDA to start discussing and formatting the challenge. Okay.
Excellent. Thank you, everybody.
Okay, thank you very much, everyone. And thank you, Daniel, for your participation as well, and for all your insights. So we'll see you then on the next opportunity. Thank you, everyone. Bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.